So Sabrina, so Tori had to step out, so we'll go with a couple questions till she comes back. So we both kind of grew up in the same area, Midwest. I grew up in Ohio. You grew up in Indiana. How does your family react to you? Because I remember you mentioned your dad earlier. How does your family react to you? It's like, yo, I want to live in Thailand.
Yeah. So I've always been a little different from everybody in my family. Like, I went to an art school. I'm really creative. I really have like this, I don't really give a fuck mentality. I'm going to be myself. Like, I'm going to do what I want no matter what. So for the most part, my family, they understood it. And they were like, oh, that's just Sabrina being Sabrina. Like, no biggie. She'll be okay. Like, she's a tough girl. No problem. You know, my mother was like, I'm going to call a bomb threat into the airport so you can't go. And I was like, hey girl, you gotta chill. Like, that's that's a little bit too much.
You go to prison for that, Mom.
Right, like, chill out. Jokes, of course. But my father, he's older, extremely traditional, very set in his ways. And when I was going off to school, he told me that I either needed to be a nurse or work at the post office. Because in his mind, those are the things that are stable. That's what will get you by in life. You'll be good. You won't have to struggle. That's it. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do any of that. So I went to art school in Chicago. He couldn't stand it. Like, he didn't support that until my junior year.
It's like right there.
Literally, it's around the corner.
Yeah.
Chill out. But no, I didn't want to go to New York first.
Yeah.
And my mother was like, no, you can go to Chicago. I was like, I can settle with Chicago. And so, I mean, yeah, he didn't really like it because I was like, I want to travel, I want to do this, I want to do that. And he was like, well, anywhere that you want to see, you can Google it and look at it online.
Old school.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm not really here for that.
Yeah.
But like the first time I left the country, I went with one of my older sisters. And I was like, oh, there's like a whole life. To Jamaica.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for like spring break one year. And I was like, oh, there's like an entire life outside of Indiana, outside the US. I was like, I'm not going to do this. Then I was in school. We had to complete an internship requirement. And a lot of people were going to New York. A lot of people were going to LA. And I was like, nope, I got to do something completely different. And so I was like, I'm going to go to London. Went to London. My father actually supported that bit. But I loved it. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to stop at this point. So, you know, I was just like in and out of Indianapolis, moving back and forth, around and around, here and there. And I mean, my family and my close friends, they're just used to it at this point. Like, I'll go home in October to visit, and they're all making all these jokes with me, like, oh, you're not going to stay. You're only going to be here for, you know, X amount of time. But they know how I am. Yeah,
my family's the same way. Yeah. I was like, you know, I'm leaving. Yes.
Yes, like, I'll come and visit.
Yeah, make my casserole to go.
Right, yeah, but I got to go.
So, so you said you went to London. Do you think that London is a good city for people who are afraid to travel internationally, to kind of transition over, to kind of get a taste of what international travel is?
I think so. I mean, and especially if you're familiar with big cities, because London is a big city.
It's New York. It's a British New York.
It is, and
cleaner.
Yes, I mean, and it's diverse.
Very diverse. I think people get mad at me when I say that London is the most diverse city in the world.
Oh no. There's nothing to be mad at.
I'm like, it really is. Like, well, and the pushback is, oh no, what about New York? I'm like, New York is segregated. It's diverse, but it's segregated. Yeah. It's very clearly segregated. Yeah. But in London, you go to Greenwich, you go to Camden, like you go to a bank. It's everybody everywhere. Yeah. Like from all walks of life interacting. It's a beautiful. Like you might see Russell Brand just walking down the street.
Right.
Like it really is that kind of city. I love it. Yeah.
I mean, and I think that would be a good starting point for people that are afraid to travel abroad, because I mean, like, Bangkok isn't diverse.
No,
like, not at all. And I was talking to my friends about that earlier. You know, it's not a diverse city, and I do miss diversity though.
Yeah, it's interesting. So when you decided, like, on Bangkok specifically, because there's a lot of places you could teach English here in Southeast Asia specifically. What was it about Bangkok that attracted you here?
I didn't want to stay here. I didn't. Really? Yeah, no, because I had already done Chicago. I had already done London, and in my mind, I was like, I don't want to do another big city. Yeah. So what I did the first time I came out here, I was actually couch surfing. So I spent a couple of days here in Bangkok, spent a couple of days in Phuket, spent a couple of days in Chiang Mai. And at that point, I was like, oh my God, I'm tired of carrying my stuff around. I'm just going to stay in Chiang Mai. Couldn't find a job because like school was literally like just about to start. And apparently Chiang Mai is hot shit.
And everybody's up there in Chiang Mai. Every black person I know.
Literally. But I had met a girl on my second night in Bangkok, and she just happened to be in Chiang Mai at the same time, and she's like, oh, just come back to Bangkok. Came back here, stayed with her, and she called me and she was like, oh, we're looking for, my director is looking for another teacher for the high school. Do you want to interview? So basically he offered me a job, asked me to start within 2 days, and that's how I ended up staying here.
Mm-hmm. And why are you still here?
Because I went home and I got stressed out and borderline depressed, and I was like, I'm gonna go. Like, I don't have to deal with this. I'm just gonna go back to Bangkok.
So was it when you went home? Was it like a reverse culture shock? Was it personal stuff? You don't have to talk about it if you don't want to.
I mean, it was all of that. Like, I was just.
Was it Trump?
You know what? Partially, because everybody was on Facebook. Oh, if Trump wins, I'm gonna leave the country. I was like, but I really will. So.
Yo, people, it's interesting because I joke about that, and I'm old enough to remember when Bush was president. I vividly remember when Bush was president. And everybody then were talking about, oh, I'm going to move overseas. And then when Obama got elected, every conservative I knew, because by that time I was in Texas.
Okay.
And every conservative, oh, I'm going to leave the country. And then Trump got elected, oh, I'm going to leave the country. And I'm thinking to myself, as somebody who's been traveling the world since 2002, I'm like, do people really understand how difficult it is to become an expat?
Right.
Like, not only just traveling out of the country for a week or two to Jamaica or Germany or London or whatever, but to really establish a life. Like, those of us who live in Bangkok, this is home.
Yeah.
Like, this is where we live, where we pay our bills, where our phone is, our friends.
Literally.
We got, little some ladies. And, like, we have a routine. We live here.
I don't think people realize it, because I think a lot of people, they just see whatever you post on Instagram, on Facebook, and they're like, oh, you live in paradise. Everything is so easy. It's so perfect all the time. They don't really see anything else that you deal with behind the scenes. They don't see the visa runs. They don't see sitting hours at immigration. They don't see all this.
Trying to find a job.
Yeah.
Trying to negotiate new contracts and deal with parents and the microaggressions of being black.
Exactly.
And
people trying to poke and prod and touch and feel everything all the time. No.
Yeah.